Marco Nunez. Forward number 41, Mulham Babuli. Midfielder number 44, Mark Anthony Kane. And forward number 48, Raheem Edwards. The head coach of Toronto FC2 is Jason Bent. Ladies and gentlemen, Toronto FC2. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting 11 for your Rochester Rhinos. They are led by their captain, midfielder number 20, Tony Walls. Starting in goal, number 33, Brandon Miller. Defender, number 5, Vasilis Apostolopoulos. At forward, number 7, Anua Obase. Up top, number 8, Christian Voleski. Defender number 9, Colin Roll. In the midfield, wearing number 11, Johnny Mendoza. Also in the midfield, number 13, Mike Garzi. Defender, number 15, Pat McMahon. Defender number 18, Grant Van de Castile. And in the midfield, number 21, Kenardo Forbes. The head coach of your Rhinos is Bob Lilly. He is assisted by Gavin McInerney and George Kiriatsis. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2015 Rochester Rhinos. And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please rise and remove your hats for the singing of the Canadian and American national anthems, this evening being performed by Catherine Kennedy.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Fans of the Rhinos and USA Payroll would like to salute the greatest
Soccer Saturday night in downtown Rochester. We are at Salen's Stadium for the 5-0-2 Rochester Rhinos against the 1-3-1 Toronto FC2 side. I'm Joe Giuliano. It's USL Soccer, the second home game of the season for the Rochester Rhinos. As the introductions and the anthems coming to a close, coin toss will take place at midfield as we look at your starting lineups tonight at Salem Stadium. First, for the visitors from Toronto, in goal, it'll be Alex Bono, the native of Syracuse, played his high school soccer in Baldwinsville, a suburb of Syracuse, New York. In the back, it'll be Sharpie, Bouchard, Thomas, and Kay. The midfielders will be Manella, Edwards, and Chapman. Up top, Nunez, Babuli, and Hamilton. Jason Bent, the head coach of Toronto FC2. They're 1-3-1 with 4 points on the season so far. They'll be wearing the all red this evening at Salem Stadium. For the Rochester Rhinos, it'll be Brandon Miller in goal. An outstanding 0.44 goals against average, number 1 in the USL. He'll start in goal, his 6th appearance of the season. In the back, it'll be Apostolopoulos, Obasi, McMahon, and Van de Castile. In the midfield, Mendoza, Garzi, Walls, and Forbes. Up top, Rolf and Christian Voleski. Bob Lilly, the 49-year-old, in his second stint with the Rhinos, is the head coach. Our color commentator, once again this season, Mr. Andrew Battisti. Welcome back, my friend, for undefeated Rhino soccer.
That's right, and boy, what a difference a couple weeks makes, doesn't it? Last game we were in our parkas. It was about 40 degrees, 30-degree wind chill. Tonight it's 90 degrees. As you can see, it's a little bit dark. There are thunderstorms in the area. Let's hope that there's no stoppage in the game tonight. But this should be a great matchup. The Toronto FC website calls them the baby Reds. I think we'll just call them the Reds. Obviously, all the red tonight. It's a team with very, very young players. The players, 5 of the 11, have played here at Frontier at Salem Stadium before. So they're used to this facility. They're used to the turf. We'll talk about that as we move along tonight. 3 changes for each team from their last game. The Rhinos winning 2-1 in Montreal. Toronto losing 5-1 in Pittsburgh after going a man down in the 40th minute. And with Tariq Robertson, he is suspended for this game because of that red card.
The man in the middle tonight is David Mann. He's assisted by Steve Montanino and Raymond Tam. Fourth official is Bill Angle. Toronto, as Andrew mentioned, in the all red has the kickoff. They'll be attacking the goal to our right. Sharpie. And Hamilton gets it quickly back to Manella. TFC starts with possession back to Alex Bono. And we'll have some stories to share about Mr. Bono throughout the broadcast tonight. As Chapman works it through the center circle, outside now. The Reds slow it down. Kay. Now on the near side, Sharpie. Low pass forward, nicely broken up by Walls and redirected deep down over the Rhinos' end line. It'll be a goal kick for Brandon Miller. As we talked about, his numbers this year, very impressive. And you've got 2 guys behind him in Grinwis and Murdoch with some pretty good credentials, but Miller's just beating those guys out.
He certainly is. And Brandon Miller, 4th year with the Rhinos, the longest serving Rhino. He's bided his time behind Christian Niche, who, again, I can't believe Montreal just waived him after that loss in the Champions League final. I feel very bad for Christian. Those goals were not his fault. And also played behind John McCarthy, who's now with Philadelphia Union. So he's had his opportunity to learn from these 2 keepers, and now he's the top keeper in the league. And he got a great defense in front of him.
A big defense as well. Strong, athletic, to say the least, for the guys in white protecting Miller and the Rhinos' goal. Manella.
You have Jason Bent. It's deja vu for him, playing against the Rhinos team with big, strong defenders. Back in the day when he played, it was Scott Schweitzer, Craig Demon, Tim Hardy, guys like that. Bent played for the Colorado Rapids, was a sub in the 1999 U.S. Open Cup final, of course, won by the Rhinos. in that dramatic 2-0 win at Crew Stadium. We'll never forget that day, Joe.
The green smoke filling the Toronto penalty box as the Rhinos fan section getting bigger by the week, making their presence felt in the Alex Bono box.
They didn't have to deal with that at Syracuse, that's for sure.
Bono started at 13 years old with the Empire United Academy. Tommy Tanner convincing Alex Bono and his family to join that team, and he's got such a great story about his national team call-up when he was called in January. Actually thought the phone call was a joke. Claimed that it was one of his buddies playing a prank on him, and they were like, no, this is the U.S. national team. We want to bring you in for camp.
Well, those who don't know who Tommy Tanner is, he was the former captain of the Rochester Rhinos of that 1999 Open Cup championship team, now the head coach of the indoor Syracuse Silver Knights, native of Syracuse, and
president and the owner of the team as well in Syracuse.
Alex Bono, one of the players that's familiar with Salem Stadium. He played here for Reading United last year in the U.S. Open Cup, and that memorable match that Colin Rolfe was the hero, scored both goals as the Rhinos won in extra time, winning goal in the 119th minute.
There's a good bit of work from Voleski, who loves playing against Canadian teams, especially ones from Montreal. That's where he's done his damage so far.
2 games against Montreal, 4 goals. He's a member of the team of the week. But he should have a lot more than 4 goals. He's been all over the field. He's a throwback, old school striker, always looking to go forward, take on defenders. I love to see that. I love the way he plays.
There's team captain Tony Walls, back to Mendoza. Obasi back in the lineup. Still Obasi. He'll be creative down this left flank tonight. Gets it back. Shot is deflected. Rolfe, the workhorse up top. Bob Lilly just loves that style of play for his strikers. He'll get in there and he'll do his fair share of work to loosen up and tire up this Toronto defense.
You see Toronto putting everybody behind the ball. They're a very young team. The oldest player on Toronto on the field right now is 22 years old. I mean, these guys certainly have youth and exuberance and maybe physicality behind them, but the lacking of experience is going to be the telling factor. Can they hold off, especially after that pounding they suffered against Pittsburgh in their last game, which was 2 weeks ago?
They've given up 3, 4, and 5 goals in games. Jason Bent this week on Goal TV Canada said the focus was on defensive shape, and they've had a lot of time to work on it since that last game in Pittsburgh on April the 25th. Good ball outside. McMahon. Marked there by Kay. Kay stands him up, keeps it in play, gets it back to Bouchard. They'll work the near side now. Nunez. Slowed up by Johnny Mendoza. Toronto some passing back and forth, but intercepted by Tony Walls. Rolfe to Mendoza. Just gets better every game, Johnny Mendoza.
See him on that left side. He'll switch all over the field. Johnny will go where he thinks the field is weakest and try to exploit any gaps in the Toronto backline. But right now, Toronto trying to keep their shape. It's going to be interesting to see what the Rhinos do, because the speed tonight is not as deadly as it has been in the past, because there's one missing cog named Alex Dixon who is not in the 18 tonight for the Rhinos. So they're going with the strength with Voleski and Rolfe. But of course, Voleski, he's a pretty fast guy himself, Joe. He was one of the top speedsters at the MLS Combine, so he can certainly motor when he gets himself going.
Dixon undisclosed as to why he was scratched this evening, but that is indeed the scenario. As we're in the 6th minute and scoreless as you look at the last challenge leading to the foul.
Rough foul here coming up. We'll take a look at it. Ouch. Foul from behind and still down in the field. I believe that's Canardo Forbes who's down right now. The Jamaican, former Jamaican international.
Forbes, another man who's got a little Syracuse ties. Spent the indoor season with the Syracuse Silver Knights of the MASL. Had 22 goals and 14 assists. And good article in the paper this morning talking about his role, especially with the Rhinos. And Bob Lilly very happy with his ability to link up from the defense and get the play into the attack.
And he's experienced in the outdoor game, played with Waterhouse in Jamaica, played in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, Champions League against DC United, and certainly wants to get back into that Jamaican national team situation. By the way, his birthday's coming up on Friday, so wish Canardo happy birthday, along with Grant Van de Castile. He'll turn 24 tomorrow.
Looks like it's the right knee that's bothering Canardo Forbes. He'll get some help from the trainer and hopefully be able to bounce back. As the Rhinos are 5-0-2 defensively, well, no surprises with a Bob Lilly team. They've given up the fewest goals in the league. Louisville right behind them with 4 goals against, but 3 goals against for Rochester, and that's where it starts with Bob Lilly teams.
Certainly does. Defense wins championships. Just ask Chelsea about that.
Oh, here we go.
Hey,
I had to throw that in there.
I had my boys, English EPL champions. And
it took you
not even close.
7 minutes and 35 seconds to mention Chelsea.
Well, hey, I'm proud of them, and also my cohort on Soccer is Kicking the Grass, Joe Sirianni, very proud of his Juventus team. They have a big match coming up against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu this week in the second leg of the UEFA Champions League semifinals.
The delivery from Garzi.
Van de Castile getting up for that one. The graduate of the University of Notre Dame, All-American there. Back in the lineup after missing some time with a injury. This is his first start in a few games, so good to see him back in the changes in the Rhinos lineup. Julian Ringoff goes to the bench tonight for Van de Castile. Ano Obasi missed the last game because he just had a baby, so congratulations to the Obasi family.
Number 2, by the way, for them. Congratulations.
Absolutely. So, and also going on to off the 18 is Timmy Mulgrew off the lineup tonight for the Rhinos. We'll give you the Toronto changes in just a bit.
There's Obasi again, just creating havoc, working hard down the flank. He'll be a thorn in their side throughout the night on the overlapping runs. Played back, top of the 18. Sharpie on the outside now. Switch it over to the far side. Some space there for the Reds to come forward. Bouchard slows it down. Manella.
That's the guy you want with the ball for Toronto, Joe. Chris Manella, the team captain, homegrown player on loan from Toronto FC, 3 caps for Canada. Some good experience on this young Toronto team. He's only 20 years of age himself.
Good win by Valesky, who takes a knock to the face from Thomas. And he is down as it's cleared away by Bouchard. And Valesky on his back.
The last game, Joe, here, we had a couple guys busted open. Colin Rolfe and one of the members of Toronto, of the New York Red Bulls, too. There's the ball over the top. Valesky goes up for it. And a little cocoa butt from Skylar Thomas. And worse for wear is Christian Blessing. Skylar Thomas, another graduate of Syracuse University, taken in the draft by Toronto FC. Number 11 in the draft. He's from Pickering, Ontario. He's another guy who played for Reading United in that U.S. Open Cup game.
Quickly thrown into Mendoza. Back to Obasi. Serves. High, deep cross. Headed away there by Edwards, but picked up by Forbes. The Rhinos continue their attack with McMahon. And outside, Forbes was going a little deep there, and flag comes up for an offside. Coming back the other way for Toronto FC, who will be making their home debut as far as the Baby Reds are concerned against the Rhinos on May 23rd. So that's quite a few games away from home.
And that's been tough for Toronto FC. I mean, it's worse than the parent club, Toronto FC, the MLS side. They can play their first home game in the brand new expanded BMO Field tomorrow against the Houston Dynamo. So again, 8 o'clock kickoff at BMO Field. The Rhinos taking on Toronto FC2. It's the second game of a doubleheader between TFC and the Portland Timbers. They'll play at 5:30. I'm going up for that one, Joe. I can't wait.
And how about the expansion? On Friday, they had a ribbon-cutting ceremony. As Andrew mentioned, Houston coming to town tomorrow. $120 million in renovations, 8,400 new seats, and much more that we'll talk about after this Rhinos attack where Mendoza gets it tangled in his feet. Finds Obasi again. He's got a lot of space early on. He'll be dangerous if he's given this kind of time and space. Garzi. Obasi. Walls, reaches out, keeps possession. Looking to thread it through to Valesky. Bouchard there to clear it.
Rhinos are going to see the bulk of the possession in this game, Joe. It's going to be a matter of trying to break down Toronto FC, they get a first goal is going to force Toronto to come out. So Toronto's going to try their hardest to keep the Rhinos off the scoreboard as long as they can. I mean, I think they'd be ecstatic with a draw coming out of this game if they can get it.
Bossy seeing a lot of ball early on. Mendoza. Garzi. Quick touch to Walls, who's shifting throughout that midfield. Forbes with space on the outside. Walls plays the 1-2 with Forbes into the 18. Shot. Valesky couldn't get his hips around that one, and it's up and into the crowd.
A little bit in too deep there from Christian Valesky. His first shot of the game goes wide of the target. A good play from Forbes, trying to get that ball across. It's a very tough angle, though, and Valesky puts it over the top. Here it is again. Nice 1-2 with Tony Walls. A little bit too far forward, and Valesky just could not get his shot on target.
Here's Forbes fighting, looking to keep possession, but a good bit of work there by Edwards to knock it away from the Rhinos midfielder.
Tony Walls right there, using his body to shield the ball, winning it back for the Rhinos. And the Rhinos doing that a lot. They play that Barcelona mentality. As soon as you lose the ball, go immediately try to get it back again. And it's been working for the Rhinos so far.
Forbes. He and Edwards have a good little battle going on. Edwards comes away with that one again. And it'll be a throw-in for the Rhinos on the far side. McMahon to take it. The 27-year-old making his 8th appearance of the season. He's in his 2nd year with the Rhinos.
Now let's watch Forbes over these next few minutes, Joe. I don't think he's fully recovered from that knee problem he got in the 6th minute. He's not moving very well right now. He's got the ball here.
Forbes chips into the box. Valesky tried to bring it down, couldn't. And cleared away by the Reds. Bossy. Swipe there from Hamilton, but able to find Garzi.
Jordan Hamilton, another guy familiar, and he really likes the stadium, Joe, because he scored the winning goal for the Wilmington Hammerheads game I called with Anoa Obasi, who was injured at the time. Broke in alone, and ball ricocheted back off of him after a save was made, and the Rhinos lost that game 1-0. So Hamilton looking to get another chance here against the Rhinos with Toronto FC too.
There's Forbes working the far side, puts it through the legs of Edwards. Still Forbes. Double team. McMahon to Mendoza, corner of the 18. Walls quickly pumps it into the box, and it's sliced away there by Marcos Nunez.
A wall of red back there for Toronto FC, trying to keep the Rhinos off the score sheet as we played a quarter hour here at Salem Stadium. No score yet between the two teams, and really, I haven't seen Toronto much in the Rhinos' end, if at all, so far in this match.
Apostolopoulos. Walls. Now Mendoza. Here is Obasi again.
He'll do this all game long, Joe, if he has the chance. Former forward in the indoor game. Loves to get forward on that left side.
Deep in the corner. And Sharpie will nudge him out of play with the ball as well. And it'll be a throw in deep in the Toronto half of the field for the Rhinos. Garzi. Forbes checking in for the ball. Gets it back to Garzi. Mendoza, cheeky little back heel, finds Walls. Bossy pops it in the air, gets it to sit on the turf. Some fancy footwork from him as well, and Walls joins the party. Nice round of applause from the crowd here.
Almost a little Mexican style here from the Rhinos, like ticky-tack soccer. But so far, most of the possession again with the Rhinos. We'll see what Toronto can do to try to get some kind of an offense into this match, but so far it's been all Rhinos, but it's still scoreless here at Salem Stadium.
Collision off the play. Hamilton goes down after the contact with Obasi. On the far side, McMahon. Now Forbes. Rhinos finding those pockets. Players checking into space and receiving the ball. Here's Rolfe. And they'll raise the flag on that far side for an offsides. In the 17th minute, it is scoreless at Salem Stadium. These two teams will meet 3 more times this season. As Andrew mentioned, the 23rd of this month in Toronto, then 2 more here in Rochester on July 11th and September the 12th. Bono will come up to take this one. But it's Syracuse University, leaving after his junior season, and really a huge part of Syracuse University getting back on the college soccer map. So deep into the Rhinos' half of the field.
Toronto's first attack really in this match.
See if they can keep the pressure in this Rhinos' half.
And Tony Walls with a great play there.
There's Valesky stretching the legs out on the far side.
He's going to take it all the way, Joe.
Chips it across, deflected, and out of play. It'll be a corner kick for the Rhinos. First corner kick of the game in the 18th minute.
So much for my prediction there, Joe. I thought Valesky was going to rip one. But there was 2 Rhinos running onto a great position in the box. But nice defensive play by TFC2, and we'll have our first corner of the match. And Johnny Mendoza will take most of the corners for the Rhinos. This will be an outswinger. Vandy Castile will be a target player here, along with Apostolopoulos for the Rhinos. See what Mendoza can do.
Good service. It's a high one, but it's right in the 6. The header. Another header down at the 6 and cleared away off the line. It was actually a Rhino player. It looks like it was Rolfe who went for the bicycle kick. Just a little too deep to get that one on frame.
Was great athleticism from Colin Rolfe there. Nice effort. Just could not get the ball on target. He was so close to the goal. I'm surprised he could even get the ball over the top from that angle.
And that's one thing this year we've seen with the Rhinos is they've got such a big presence on these restarts that are set into the box, and they'll crash everything.
There's the header. Bossi got his head to it. There's Rolfe. Boy, if he'd just gotten that ball down, it was in the back of the net.
It would have been a beauty.
Almost reminds me of the goal Benedetto scored against Montreal Impact in the Champions League final, where he got that scissor kick. And
a thing of beauty.
It was a gorgeous goal.
Speaking of Montreal, Toronto and Montreal will be going at it again in the Canadian Championship on Wednesday at BMO Field. And we talked about that expansion, 8,400 seats. There's new concession stands, 12 new suites, and a larger HD video board. That is only phase 1, though. More phases coming along the way for BMO Field.
Well, it's a beautiful facility. Before that, I mean, it's a larger version of Salem Stadium. And now they're built a second deck on the far side, the side that's closest to the city of Toronto. I can't wait to get up there, Joe. It's a great team, a great facility, and there's a lot of rumors about maybe another team coming into Toronto to play in that facility. Not coming in, but in Toronto playing in that facility. We're talking about the Toronto Argonauts. So that'll be very interesting to see if that actually happens.
More configuration issues there with the CFL field being a little larger than we see here in the States.
120, actually more than 120, it's 160 yards, 25-yard end zones.
Massive.
Now,
player down on the field is Vasilia Apostolopoulos.
Rhinos have had some knocks in the first half here.
They have, as we're about midway through half number 1. Rhinos 1-0 at home, 5-0-2 away from home.
First place in the USL.
And Richmond had a chance last night against Charlotte Independence. They fell 3-0. Former Rhino Patrick Slogic with a goal. They avenged an earlier 3-0 loss to Richmond. And Richmond did receive a red card in the 40th minute. Alex Lee, who was USL Team of the Week, was sent off. And Charlotte still behind the Rhinos with 15 points.
That Slogic has 2 goals already for Charlotte this year. We'll be seeing the Independents a little bit later on in the season. Seems like former Rhinos always score against the Rhinos, too. We'll see what happens, but match today held in the USL Pro. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
Mendoza runs off of his foot. He's going to have to regroup and settle once again. Valesky, Obasi, Manella trying to handle him. He gets some help as well from Sharpie, and Toronto comes away with it. Good step by Garzi. He has been strong in the middle of the field. Voleski with some pace and a quick clearance by Skylar Thomas. Another one of the Syracuse University products. He was an all-ACC second team. Clears it out of play.
As you mentioned, Jordan Hamilton played for Wilmington last year. Manny Aparicio was on the bench.
Voleski, a good service to Rolf, and those two guys seem to have a very good connection up top.
They certainly do, and again, two guys with both have size, both have strength, both have speed. Almost like twin forwards up top. Very similar style. Maybe Rolf maybe a little more of the grit and battle, or Voleski a little bit more speed, but so far doing very well up top together.
Van de Castile, nice head, wins it forward to Walls, now popped up in the air. Forbes will bring it down. Try to thread it through, but the wall of red breaks it up. Now it is Sharpie, that's a poor touch. Jason Bent not gonna be happy with that. There's Garzi. Mendoza. Knocked off the ball, a counterattack opportunity here for Nunez. Sends it forward. Hamilton and Van de Castile coming in. The two-time USL Team of the Week member. Good hustle there, knock it out of play in the 24th minute.
Hamilton has got tremendous speed. Again, he scored that winning goal for Wilmington last year, breaking through the middle of the Rhinos' defense, just outrunning everybody and scoring that lone goal. So very dangerous player. He has a cap for Canada as well. So great future for Mr. Hamilton with Canada and Toronto. Just 20 years old.
Leski tried a quick little spin there and unable to keep it in play. Throwing for Toronto, or Sharpie has to hustle and get it back to Bouchard.
The other thing with Toronto, Joe, a lot of their players are from the Toronto area, which says a lot for this franchise and says a lot for, Canadian soccer, that this team is really a homegrown team for the most part. I mean, they got guys like Alex Bono sprinkled in, but a lot of the guys built on their entire roster, they're all based out of Toronto. There's 4 million people.
Huge ethnic population in Toronto and the surrounding area. The TFC Academy team, outstanding. The Kia TFC Academy team, an outstanding 2014, winning it.
They pay us for that plug?
They'll give you a hotel when you go up on the 23rd.
Yeah, right. Checks in the mail, right?
Yeah, right. It's coming. Look for it. I'd like to thank Anthony Cozzetto from TFC for all his help in getting our game notes and our prep settled in for this one tonight.
Looking forward to go up and see Mr. Zero Dick Howard, former member of the Rochester Lancers and the Toronto Metros. And we'll talk a little bit more about that rivalry as we move along in this game tonight.
Good turn by Babuli. Hamilton into the 18. Still with it. Goes down. The shot. No, he couldn't pull the trigger. Wow. He wanted a PK. I think the referee was going to let it play. And you talked about Hamilton's speed and danger. He showed it there.
That's all you got. You give him just an inch, and he just tremendous quickness. Rhinos nearly paid the price there, but just a great play at the very end. And first shot, I believe, I'm not going to count that as a shot, but it was well wide of the target. But certainly the back line of the Rhinos have to watch the number 22 for Toronto FC2, Jordan Hamilton.
Good numbers last year with 5 goals, as Andrew mentioned, with Wilmington. Also scored in a friendly for TFC against Tottenham Hotspur. And after that, took a little loan with the second division club in Portugal.
Trofense of Portugal.
There's a good touch by Hamilton. Gets it back. Now Toronto asking a few questions here. Shot from distance right at Miller as Edwards, the 19-year-old who has an assist that he picked up against Vancouver, looking for his first of the season.
Hamilton took a shot to the face there off the ball. He is down in near the center circle for Toronto FC.
27th minute.
Actually, second save of the game. They credited Bono with the save earlier on. Both teams will take a little water break. We mentioned, Joe, about the history between these two cities, and it's a storied one. And I'll say this, there's never been in down to this day, a more bitter rivalry than the Rochester Lancers and the Toronto Metros from the North American Soccer League. Just incredible history and incredible matches, hatred between those two franchises. And we learned about Yugoslavia before Yugoslavia was broken up into the separate countries that we know today.
Here's a last look at that injury for Hamilton, Andrew. Let's see. He went in, won the header. Maybe it looks like he took an elbow. Here's a good look at it up close.
There's Hamilton.
It's the second ball now here. Oh, maybe head to head or an elbow. Tough to tell, but he is still down, getting up on one knee, very slow.
It was Pat McMahon. Looks like who got him there, but see if he can continue.
Kodak Building downtown, and get back to your point about the Lancers and the Toronto Metros rivalry. Wars, that's an understatement, isn't it?
Well, Toronto was basically mostly Croatians, and the Lancers were Serbians. And there was just bad blood between those franchises. And you look back to 1977, the incredible playoff series that I don't think anybody expected the Lancers to win over Toronto. Were the defending NASL champions. First leg in Rochester, Mike Stjanovic, the best scorer in Lancer history, missed 2 penalty kicks in that match. But the Lancers won in a shootout, and then in Toronto, Lancers were down 2 men at the 30th minute due to red cards, and they won 1-0 on a goal by Ibrahim Silva, their only shot of the game. They got shot 35-1. It was
Hamilton is on the sideline. Looks like he's got the cotton going up the nose, so maybe a little blood.
What is it when people get busted open?
It's here.
It's back to the old Rochester-Toronto rivalry.
We had, I believe, 2 players with jerseys that had no number on them last home game when the Rhinos picked up their first home win of the season, but blood on the jerseys forcing both teams to go with the extra jersey that had no numbers on it.
Well, if the referee better, or the fourth better take a close look, because if you get blood on the Reds jersey, I don't know if you can even see it.
Rain coming down now here
Oh,
at Salem
boy.
Stadium, the 29th minute. The fans heading for cover as
It's time to
hopefully the
time to
thunder
pull
and
the
lightning doesn't come in.
Time to pull the table back, Joe.
Not quite yet. Let's see what the wind does. It looks like the wind is blowing across field, so we'll be okay right now. As Obasi has a streaking run forward outside to Mendoza. Swerving ball into the box. Forbes tries the volley, doesn't get all of it.
He's been put off by the defender there, going for the header. So we'll see what happens with this rain. If we get any lightning, that will mean there'll have to be a stoppage. But we're all hoping that doesn't happen. We want to get home and go to dinner after the game, I'm sure.
Or get home and watch the Canadians Lightning game. No offense, Maple Leafs fans, but huge Habs fan here, and probably not happy to hear that, but we got Chelsea, we got the Habs.
I don't think Toronto FC fans are unhappy I'm a Chelsea fan. I don't know about...
What makes them
We'll
more
see
unhappy?
how much hate mail you get after the game, Joe.
I get it either way, so it doesn't matter. Let's pull the table back, Mr. Battisti, as we're going to get some rain coming in our way. We're located right at midfield between the upper and lower decks at Salem Stadium, and now the rain coming in right at our table.
Of course. Never fails.
Never fails is right. 31st minute and scoreless at Salem Stadium.
We'll see how this weather affects the game. It should speed the ball up on this field
Already
turf.
slick surface. Manella has a hard touch, has to fight for it with Walls. Keeps it, chips it forward, looking for Hamilton. And Walls will head it outside, but Toronto now starting to ask a few more offensive questions.
Certainly are. And of course, when the weather gets like this, the goalkeepers need to be very careful on any ball that hits the ground, could speed up, and of course the ball gets wet. So we'll see how Alex Bono and Brandon Miller
Here's
react.
Rolf, a good bit of hustle, takes it away from Bouchard. Into the 18, Rolf still with it. And the touch there will be knocked out of play by Toronto. And while we have a break, let's thank some of our USL reads. Follow at USL on Twitter to become a league insider, join club conversations, and have a chance at exclusive giveaways at USL on Twitter.
And Mendoza always takes his time on these corners. Let the Rhinos' big back line get up into the offense. Also look at our Rhinos captain, Tony Walls. He gets in on these head balls and finds good space.
Mendoza, delivery, Van de Castile with the header. Knocked away by the Toronto defense.
Good clearance off the line. But that was Bouchard who cleared that off the line. But Van de Castile got to that short corner by Johnny Mendoza and got it on frame. That's what you have to do.
Boy, the wind has surely picked up as well, hasn't it?
Trying to see if it
flags weren't even blowing at kickoff.
Looks like it's going cross field. Yep. So we'll see. Going potentially toward also Brandon Miller. Browns would love to pick up a goal right here in case there is any kind of weather problem. Take the lead into the locker room.
Obasi back to Mr. Apostolopoulos. Obasi trying to split two. Chapman nicely breaks it up. Manella rubbed off the ball. Walls comes back with it. Good run from Walls. Still handed it. Tried to go outside, and it's finally Kay who steps in for Toronto. Back to Bouchard. Manella. Play it back to Bono.
Rhino's been had the more possession and probably the more chances, but the best chance really was Jordan Hamilton and that work in the box where he nearly was able to get a shot off on Brandon Miller.
Bouchard. Outside looking for Kay. Tried the 1-2, wasn't going to work. Van de Castile and the Rhinos come back with it. Here's Garzi. Garzi for the Rhinos last season, 22 games played. Captain at Colgate University. Rolf flag is up on the far side and behind the Toronto defense. As Andrew mentioned earlier, gave up 5 goals at Pittsburgh. Their only win on March 28th, 2-0 against FC Montreal. And a whole bunch of other games tonight in the USL as Harrisburg defeated New York 2-1 at Red Bull Arena. Some drama in that one.
Olden goal by the Red Bulls in the 90th minute. Tough way to lose, especially there. That's the opposite of TFC because the Red Bulls are playing most of their games at home to start the season. They've got a lot of games coming up on the road, so it could be a long year for Red Bulls too. But the USL, the MLS teams though on the West Coast have done much better. Seattle's leading the Western Division, Seattle Sounders 2. And
Orange County, Sacramento right there as well. While we have a break, let's quickly thank Nike, a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike soccer information.
Very tight in the West. Only 5 points separating first from ninth. So a lot of things happening out west. In the East, a little bit more separation between Rochester, Richmond, and Charleston. Battery still undefeated, 4-0-2 on the season.
A lot of soccer still to be played, as the Rhinos have 7 games coming into tonight under their belt. As Rolf touches it central. Mendoza turns on the Jets, able to keep this one in play. Forbes into the box. Volesky tried to lay it back, didn't get it back to Forbes, but look at the hustle. Toronto comes away with it though. Manella. Hamilton, double team, knocked off the ball. Rhinos know they have a handful with Jordan Hamilton.
They got to keep 2 guys on him. And that's always an advantage. When you have a player like Hamilton, who you have to keep 2 guys back, it means you can get an extra defender behind you and maybe get a break. When Hamilton scored against Rhinos last year, he beat 2 central defenders to a through ball, and that was the game. So TFC looking for that possibly again tonight.
36th minute, we are scoreless. It's Obasi on the near side. Plays it back to Johnny Mendoza. Mendoza 2 goals on the season in 7 appearances. Bouncing ball, finally brought down to the turf by Garzi. Is McMahon working it back to Van de Castile. Selected by the Colorado Rapids in last year's draft. Obasi, Mendoza, Rolf checking, laying it off for Forbes, and a quick touch is giving possession back to Toronto. Hustle from Rolf. Out of play, throw in.
Bob Lilly's got to be happy. Ralph and Valesky always hustling, looking to win that ball in the back, and they've done it again here.
That's where your defense starts, up top. McMahon with some space on the outside. Cuts it back to Forbes. Now Walls. Space for Obasi again. They work it around. Obasi sneaks up. Gets in a one-on-one battle here. Now some help coming over for the Toronto defense. Slowing Obasi down nicely, but Mendoza and the Rhinos continue with possession.
Toronto, all their players are within a 30-yard circle of each other right now. Rhinos need to widen the field a little bit more, and that just might stop the game here, that lightning strike. See what happens.
Obasi. Sharpie marking him. Obasi cuts it back to his right. Mendoza settles. Central for Walls. Back outside for Obasi. Cuts it to his right. Still with it, Obasi. Into the box. Now to his left. And a soft cross where Bono can easily pounce on it at the 6.
I don't know what knows he should have done better with that one. He did everything right until the final ball and then just could not get anything on it.
They have been tired there. A lot of movements back and forth and in and out for Obasi. Here's a last look at that Obasi flurry of activity.
You could tell he was a forward. You could tell he was an indoor player. Great foot skills from Obasi. It's 6'5", the native of Birmingham, England. Even though he's from the England's second city, he's a fan of Manchester United. I won't hold it against him.
I had a chance to watch Obasi during the indoor season as well, and it's just fantastic. Whether it's indoors or outdoors, he is an outstanding player. And the Rhinos very lucky to have the 25-year-old. Made the all-rookie team in the MASL. And an outstanding futsal player as well. As an illegal throw-in is called. See, McMahon came up a little too far, and David Mann, you're right, you don't see that too often, says, nope, Toronto's ball now.
We'll see if the Reds can take advantage of this rare mistake by the Rhinos.
Walls will step in to break it up for the Rhinos. Garzi. A little nudge there, and the referee didn't like what he saw, so it'll be free kick coming up for the home side.
There's Manella with the foul there. Very clean game so far. Not a lot of fouls, just 2 fouls on each team, which is, that certainly does not compare to the old Toronto-Rochester rivalries.
Let's look at that last foul. A little shove from behind, knocking Garzi off balance. And there's another lightning strike. That fourth official coming up to the field and
they're stopping the game now.
Calling the referee's attention. And from what we are told, it's going to be a delay of 30 minutes from the last lightning strike. So right now it is 7:50 Eastern time. If there's no more lightning strikes from this point on, we'll come back at 8:20. But let's see how this one plays out. We're in the 40th minute. We're in a lightning delay. It is scoreless at Salem Stadium. So we'll take a break here on the Rhinos Broadcast Network. 40th minute, lightning delay. Rochester, Toronto are scoreless.
There is a storm within 3 miles of our stadium. For your safety, please move under the stands and avoid contact with high metal structures. The management of your Rhinos strongly advises all stadium guests to seek shelter under the grandstands or proceed to your vehicle. Our game will resume when the storm passes. Please retain your ticket stub for readmission. As always, fans, we thank you for your cooperation. Once again, there is a severe storm in the area. At this time, our match is being stopped. We will let you know as the storm proceeds through the area when we will get restarted. Once again, please report to the areas underneath the stands. Do not come in contact with high metal objects. If you'd like, you can head to your vehicles. Hold on to your ticket stub for readmission to Salem Stadium. As always, Rhino fans, we thank you for your cooperation. Welcome to spring in Rochester.
game. We are in the 40th minute. The lightning delay is over for now. It is scoreless, 40th minute between Rochester and Toronto FC 2. Joe Giuliano along with Andrew Battisti. And from News Power 6000, our meteorologist Andrew Battisti says another storm or a cell working its way towards Rochester as well right now.
Well, hopefully won't be any more lightning. That's the only thing that's going to stop things as we are back underway.
Here's how it's going to break down. We're in the 40th minute. We'll play the 5 minutes plus stoppage time to round out the first half. We're being told they'll take a 3-minute break, change sides, and begin half number 2. That is the tentative plan as of now. Could change, but that's the plan we've been given as we start here after this long lightning delay at Salem Stadium.
And the key thing here, Joe, is if the match goes to 45 minutes halftime, it is an official match. So this next less than 5 minutes now are critical. One team can get a goal. It could mean 3 points.
Rhinos will have a throw-in on the far side. McMahon to take it. Shots 5-2 in favor of the Rhinos before the lightning delay, as there was a few big ones that took place during that break. But right now we are good and underway.
Well, you know what? There's always a brightness before the dawn because we could be in Colorado Springs right now. We wish all the best to the people there.
Absolutely.
They're under tornado warnings, and that match between Colorado Springs Switchbacks and Portland Timbers 2 has been postponed because of the severe weather in Colorado. So all the best to all of our friends out in the Colorado Springs area.
Law's just working hard and getting through the mix. A long ball. Top of the 18, Rolfe. The chip, what a save from Bono. Put up the paws and got a piece of it. Forbes with a rocket. It's high and off the mark. We've seen Canardo Forbes before. He does pack a powerful punch.
Wow, what a great save from Bono. He made himself big there at the 18 and stopped Rolfe. Rolfe could not chip the ball over him. Great chance for the Rhinos. Again, they can get that goal before halftime. It might mean 3 points. But Bono with a big, big save there.
The Flower City Stampede in full effect behind the Alex Bono goal. There's his booming goal kick, well past midfield. McMahon gets up in the air to win the header, and the throw-in coming up for Toronto FC.
His first save of the game, and what a big time to get it. You know, he's got to be excited to play against, Rochester, being a Syracuse native himself.
Valesky. Rolfe. Rolfe barreling through. Still Rolfe. Shot! Saved by Bono, and he pounces on the rebound. It's beneath him.
Wow.
The break has done the Rhinos well. They've come out on fire.
And Colin Rolfe, what a play there. Dribbling through 4 Toronto FC defenders like they were standing still, but could not get enough on the shot to get it past Bono. Bono with 2 big saves on Colin Rolfe to keep this match scoreless in the 43rd minute.
There's dribbling and weaving in and out. This is just sheer strength as we look at the replay on the last Rolfe opportunity.
Let's take a look at it here. Rolfe collects the ball. You almost say it's almost Messi-esque there from Colin Rolfe. Right through the defense and just could not find the back of the net.
His quick touches and just going straight up the middle.
Well, Rolfe has 2 goals this year. Both of them are match-winning goals. And he certainly would love to have one here. He had the one against Red Bulls 2 in the first Rhinos home game this season.
Rhinos well aware of the risk here that there could be another delay. Looking to get a goal on the board here if it's going to be called after the first half.
We're all hoping it goes the full 90 with no more delays, though. My wife will certainly hope for that. We're supposed to go out to dinner after this match.
Put a pause on that one for now. It's always breakfast tomorrow.
Can't last till then, Joe. Come on.
Sharpie, the 22-year-old out of the University of South Florida, gives it away. Forbes. Vanda Castile. McMahon. Deflected off of Raheem Edwards, the 19-year-old. Played at Sheridan University. They won the CCAA championship in 2014. That's university in Canada. College here in the States. Good little turn there by Babouli. And Obasi will step in, intercept the pass on a good spin move. Gets away from Chapman, goes outside Garzi. And it's going to be a slick surface. It was a steady rain that came down during the delay. And that one skips right off the field.
If you can't tell, it is raining right now. It's not very hard, but it's definitely making this field a little bit more slick. But this field drains very well, as we've seen in the past, Joe.
Absolutely. I believe it was an Open Cup game against DC. There were standing puddles within, 10 minutes? Pretty much cleared off. 45th minute.
Probably won't be any stoppage time, I wouldn't think. There was was a stoppage for blood, so we may get maybe 1 or 2 minutes.
Bouchard.
We're going old school with our placard here tonight.
Indicated there will be 63 minutes. No, just kidding.
2 minutes.
There will be 2 minutes. 2 minutes of stoppage time.
Rocky Pride of the PA announcer having a good time tonight.
Always wanted to put on a good show, no matter what the sport or the season. There's Miller as the rain really starting to pick up now late in the first half at Salem Stadium. First of 4 meetings between the Reds and the Rhinos.
And 2 weeks from today at BMO Field, 8 p.m. kickoff following TFC against the Portland Timbers at 5:30. Definitely encourage all Rhino fans to make the trip up to Toronto, support the Rhinos, and see a great MLS match featuring our U.S. internationals, Josie Altidore and Michael Bradley, not to mention Mr. Jovinko from the old country.
That's a little bit of a name as well as Mendoza. The one-time shot right at Bono. That was a well-taken shot. Not an easy one to hit from the top of the 18.
Especially with the weather conditions right now. That ball could have done anything. Actually, it would probably have been better if that ball had taken a hop before it got to Bono. Went right into Bono's chest, and he made a very comfortable save.
Bono will shove everyone downfield.
Let's get as far from his goal as possible. With
That is a high kick.
less than a minute left in stoppage time here in the first half, as we are 0-0 between the Rhinos and the Reds.
And for Jason Bent, has to be somewhat happy that the defensive shape has, I guess, improved after giving up 5 goals in Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago.
Of course, those goals were all scored when Toronto was down a man, if you do want to say that. But Brandon Miller looks like he's going to have another half of a clean sheet. He had half a clean sheet against the Red Bulls first game, then it went out to injury, and Adam Grinwis finished the shutout out.
And that will bring half number 1 to a close. We have a 3-minute break. We'll take a short break for 3 minutes, come back with second half action. After 45 minutes of play, the Rhinos and Toronto are scoreless.
Great Taste has landed. Salen's great tasting hot dogs and deli meats now available across New York State.
What does it take to keep a small business pressing ahead?
3 can-do attitudes.
And a partner who keeps everything running smoothly. Time Warner Cable Business Class. Bundle and save with high-speed internet, phone, and Wi-Fi hotspot access for as low as $79.98 per month. Ask how to get a $200 Visa prepaid card. With Business Class 10 meg internet, Printworks handles everything from emails to custom orders. And 4 dedicated phone lines help them connect with customers and meet deadlines.
1 call can make it possible.
When you build a new house with Faber Homes, you won't have to deal with the to-do list that comes with buying a used home.
They made it really easy. I mean, the whole process was so simple, and we were new to the process. It was our first time owning a home, definitely first time building a home, so they made it really easy, step-by-step process, so it's great.
Learn more about the benefits of building a new home at faberhomes.com and visit our models in Henrietta at Berkshire Park or at Regency Park in Greece. Faber Homes. Great homes, great price.
Come on, join the rest of the kids at Unity Health System's Total Sports Experience. Instructional program starting at age 2. Year-round fun. Join anytime. Call 458-4263 or check us out at totalsports-experience.com.
What helps make this small business the best on the block?
144 glossy pages.
And a partner that's right in the neighborhood. Time Warner Cable Business Class. Bundle and save with high-speed internet, phone, and Wi-Fi hotspot access for as low as $79.98 per month. Ask how to get a $200 Visa prepaid card. Business class 15 meg internet helps Luxury Home Magazine upload proofs fast. And 25 advanced phone features mean they never miss a client call.
One call can make it possible.
Years of broadcasting Rhino soccer. I can honestly say that is the shortest halftime I've ever been involved with. A 3-minute halftime comes to a close as we begin half number 2. If you're just tuning in, there was a lightning delay in the first half, the 40th minute mark, so we played 5 minutes, took a 3-minute break, switched sides, got some water, and we are scoreless as we begin half number 2, but the rain has really picked up. A heavy downpour now as we begin half number 2 with Rochester and Toronto FC 2.
And now, Joe, really the experience of the Rhinos may become a big factor in this game because of their play in this weather, which they're used to. The younger guys from Toronto FC may not be used to playing in this type of conditions. But
Edwards got taken down there by Van de Castile, who was not happy with the call.
Okay, clean tackle to me, but
I thought it was good too.
I don't have the green jersey on. I do have a green shirt, but
well,
not a green
tonight
jersey.
you're the meteorologist. You're not the official.
Really.
So
I'm never the official.
From Powerhouse Radio 6000.
And here, again, set pieces in weather like this, very dangerous.
Swerving ball from Babuli, the header. And it sails wide of the frame. Goal kick coming up here for the Rhinos. Brandon Miller in goal tonight, the 25-year-old.
Uh-oh. We just saw a flash of lightning. And the key again, this is now an official match. So if something happens and this match cannot continue, it would go into the books as a scoreless tie unless something happens here in the next several minutes.
David Mann is the official tonight. He'll make that decision along with his crew. We're playing as we go now in the 47th minute. It's Raheem Edwards crossing midfield on the near side. Finds Kay. Back to Edwards, little slick surface, loses his balance, walls under his foot. And there's gonna be some poor touches and some slipping out there. As Edwards has done a good bit of work, but ran out of space.
Here's where you want to get the ball in your playmaker's feet.
Forbes, good touch forward, Voleski. Corner of the 18, Voleski cuts it to his left. Broken up by Bouchard and cleared away.
And what's this going to do with this rain? It changes the touches that the players take. That ball actually slowed up for Voleski, and he wasn't expecting it and lost the ball.
Mo Babuli behind is Hamilton. He's on sides in the 18. Tries to dribble the keeper, and Miller pounces on it. What an opportunity, and what a great save from Brandon Miller.
And again, I think, Joe, the weather definitely had a factor there. Hamilton didn't even really get a shot off. The ball got away from him at the last minute, and Brandon Miller got close enough to him to be able to grab it off the turf.
Here's a look at it. Was he offside? That's the question mark we'll be talking about here as Bono quickly pounces one off. Here's that last chance for Hamilton, starting from their own half of the field.
It's a nice work from Toronto there. Here comes the through ball. Can't really tell from this angle. It did look like, I don't even want to say. But let's see this touch here. He tried to dribble the keeper. It wasn't even a shot. He tried to dribble around Miller. Miller just took the ball off his foot.
49th minute. Hamilton, a great opportunity. Rhinos service, the header and a goal! No, it's off the post! I thought it was in the back of the net. Colin Rolfe thought it was too.
Oh my goodness.
Unbelievably lucky for Bono.
How could you miss that one? That's incredible. That used to be called obstruction back in the old days, but not anymore.
Mendoza in a driving rain is taken down by Edwards. Let's take a look at that last one from Rolf. Just waiting to see the net ripple, and it didn't happen. Here's a look at it.
Here comes the play. So it's ball played back. McMahon. There's Mendoza. Here comes the cross. And a perfect run from Rolf. There's the flick header off the and it came up, looks like it came right off of Bono. Came outwards off of Bono, and then Bono grabbed it.
He was planted. No chance at all for Alex Bono. And as you've heard so many times in every different sport that has a goal, the keeper's best friend there to help him out.
We saw that happen a couple times in the last game too. So Rhinos now with another dangerous free kick. Rolf's been all over the field tonight. He has 5 shots in the game and nearly put one in the back of the net there.
The yellow card was issued in the 49th minute to Raheem Edwards for his challenge on this near side. First yellow card of the game. Mendoza, good service. Obasi heads it back. Forbes, a little flick up and over the goal.
I think the Rhinos want to get that goal. They know that with its weather conditions, anything can happen. So if they can get ahead in this game, then takes the.
Have you visited the new USLsoccer.com? Get the latest news and live stats, and check out the new social media hub. That's USLsoccer.com. Now, getting back to your point, though, I agree. They do sense there is a bit of urgency here. And with the severe weather moving into western New York. Hamilton, chest pass. Gets it back. Looking for Edwards, but knocked downfield. Volesky and Rolf turn on the Jets, and Bouchard has no chance but to play it safe.
That was a great play from Bouchard because Volesky was right in his tail, could easily have taken that ball away. And Bouchard played it safe, gave the Rhinos a throw.
Here's Rolf, deep in the near corner. And cleared away. Another throw-in coming up for the home side, 11-3 shots in favor of the Rhinos, who will be in Wilmington next Saturday, while Toronto will be visiting St. Louis on Thursday.
And then they go to Louisville on Saturday. So they get that Midwest trip like the Rhinos had earlier this year, getting a draw in Louisville and a win in St. Louis thanks to Colin Rolf's goal.
Louisville, 4 goals against, just behind the Rhinos in that goals against category. As Forbes takes a wild swerving shot that will go out of play. There'll be a goal kick coming up for Bono.
And Louisville, of course, the former Orlando City, so no surprise that they are a top defensive team. They were the best in the league last year.
Become a fan of the USL on Facebook for exclusive league news and interactive content. It's USL on Facebook. Flicked forward, looking for Hamilton. Does a nice job, leaves it for Babuli. Driven cross, blocked and scooped away by Canardo Forbes.
Babuli, the leading scorer for TFC2 with 2 goals and an assist on the season. It's been Hamilton who's been the most dangerous by far for the Reds tonight.
Possession taken back. And Bouchard. Now Kay. Pressured by Garzi, has to go back to Bouchard.
Cape actually played forward for the Wilmington Hammerheads last year in his short stint with them, did very well, but now he's playing in the back tonight.
A nice ball on the flank for Volesky. Sprints into the 18. Tried to get the cross away, just couldn't get his foot on it. And the slick surface carries it over the end line. A goal kick coming up for Toronto. But watching Volesky and Rolf like sharks attacking, they just turn it up another level. They chase that ball down. They chase down the defenders. That is such a great way to start your defensive play with guys like that.
Absolutely.
Up top.
Bob Lilly talking to Christian Volesky, giving him some instruction on that last play. It looked like he wanted to either shoot that ball or cross it, and was able to do neither, unfortunately.
Hats off to Bob Lilly for keeping 8 players and then building around that. An absolutely outstanding start for the Rhinos at 5-0-2. Defensive play is up, goal scoring is up, and Rhinos need to continue this solid
run of form.
And Jason Bent would be very happy with a tie in this match, given the form of Toronto FC lately. And Bob Lilly certainly would think there was 2 points lost at home if the Rhinos cannot find a goal here.
Chapman, Hamilton. We'll go back to Chapman. Forbes is there to break it up.
Never heard much from Chapman tonight, which is a bit surprising. He's on loan from TFC, played in the Canadian Championships this past week for Toronto FC senior team.
Here's Raheem Edwards. Tony Walls shields him off. Tony Walls, another guy who came off the indoor game this past season, played with the Milwaukee Wave. And an outstanding season, 17 goals, 10 assists. Another one like Obasi, indoors, outdoors, doesn't matter. It's going to be outstanding.
And of course, we want to congratulate the Walls family. Carol Walls, the sister of Tony Walls, scored her first pro goal tonight for the Chicago Red Stars in their 3-0 win over the Boston Breakers in the NWSL. So very talented family are the Walls family from Wisconsin.
Good news for them. Congratulations. It was good to hear that. As Edwards.
I wonder what those one-on-one matches were like.
Tony is an intense competitor. A heavy touch there inside the midfield circle, and the Rhinos will come back with it. Mendoza now on the far side. Voleski, Mendoza, Garzi, McMahon. Space, keeps it in play, attacking down the near flank. Mendoza just moving all over, looking for that service. Gets it. He's doing a good job linking up, finding space. Forbes into the box. Voleski. He had McMahon on a simple touch just outside the 18 and didn't get him the ball.
I don't know if Voleski was upset with himself or upset with the official, because it looked like his shirt was pulled in the box, and of course that would be a penalty, but he didn't go down. And again, I think it's this, again, that English mentality, even though Voleski does have some Italian blood in him, you know, he's a tough guy. He's not going to want to go down, but it certainly looked like it was a little tug of the jersey and right in front of the referee, but Mr. Mon decided to let play go on.
Looks like Toronto will go to the bench in the 57th minute. Massimo Mirabelli will be coming on, the 23-year-old. And he's going to replace number 39, Marco Nunez. Nunez is off. This is in the 57th minute. Mirabelli on for Nunez.
One of the more experienced players for Toronto FC, 23 years of age, played for the FC Edmonton of the NASL last year and also spent some time over in Finland. So certainly a guy with some definitely a good background in the game.
Obasi plays it back to Apostolopoulos. Haven't talked about him too much tonight, but that's always good for a defender. Not to hear his name called too often. Garzi back to McMahon. Forbes. Sends it forward, Voleski. Shielding off one, hanging on to the ball, lays it off for McMahon, 58th minute. Garzi. Forbes. Rolfe into the 18, tries to turn, he stood up there by Bouchard. Van de Castile and the Rhinos hustle to keep it in the Toronto half. But it's Babouli coming away with it for the Reds, and he's tugged on by Van de Castile. And it'll be a restart just inside their own half of the field, as the referee is going to have a word with Van de Castile and issue him a yellow card. Second yellow card of the game. First for the Rhinos in the 58th minute goes to Grant Van de Castile.
It's a bit surprising. You know, he had a couple of fouls against him. There wasn't really much of a foul there, but again, I won't make the decision, so Van de Castile will a little money out of his pocket for that yellow card.
Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike soccer information. Joe Giuliano along with Andrew Battisti. Tonight's game produced by John Catalano and company. Hope you're enjoying our coverage from Salem Stadium in downtown Rochester, as we are scoreless in the 59th. Nicely brought down. Hamilton Tries to get the 1-2 going there. Can't continue the play, and TFC 2 will start again. Manella onto the near side. Mirabelli, a poor touch by the 23-year-old, and they'll give a throw and away to the Rhinos.
Looks like what I would do out there.
Throw-in taken by Garzi. Looking to get it pumped up to Voleski. Bouchard, just enough of a nudge to get it to Sharpie.
TFC definitely playing better now in the last 15, 20 minutes of the game. They're more into it. They have had a couple of good opportunities through Jordan Hamilton. Rhinos definitely need to regain control of the midfield. They're starting to lose it. That's the guy who wants the ball, Johnny Mendoza.
Gets it to Voleski. Almost got it through to Rolf, but Bouchard, a little flick on the head. Able to clear away the danger.
That's the second time Bouchard has had a great defensive play.
He's been good tonight.
Got that experience down in Uruguay playing for Defensor Sporting Club. That's a good name for a soccer team.
Sure is. Here is Bouchard.
Bouchard from
Far
Oakville.
side, and that'll run out of play.
I think with a name like that, he'd be from Quebec, but no, he's an Ontario guy from Oakville, the home of the Canadian Open golf tournament.
Beautiful, beautiful section of the Toronto area. Julian Ringoff will be coming on momentarily for Van de Castile.
There's a big boot up field to no one in particular, but running onto it. Mike Garzi.
Edwards gets there, and Garzi goes down holding the hamstring, the left hamstring.
I think he got kicked in the hamstring, and the referee's going to stop play here.
And this will give us the chance to make the change as well. Now that Bablo may hold off here. It is initially going to be Van de Castile for Ringoff, and that is still going to be the change. Here's a look at the last challenge from Garzi.
See what happens here. Looks like he got kicked.
This substitution for your Rochester Rhinos. Entering
That's a good substitution from
Julian Ringham.
Coach Bob Lilly, because Van de Castile on a yellow card in these kind of conditions, even though the range looks like it's stopped, it's slick, and a mistimed tackle could mean a red card.
Tough to tell on the replay if he was kicked or not, but he is still down. It's his left hamstring that appears to be troubling him, and looks like Bob Lilly is not going to waste any time. He'll go to the bench once again, and looks like Tyler Rudy will be coming on.
This
for Garzi.
This is going to be interesting. I got a story to tell about Tyler Rudy and Alex Bono, the keeper for
Let's do that in just a second. We got a closer look at that last situation with Garzi. No, he looks like he just slips and
slips.
Is there a kick? No, extended his leg and he just pulled that muscle.
There was contact, but it wasn't a kick to the hamstring.
So second change is Tyler Rudy coming on for Mike Garzi in the 62nd minute. Hopefully nothing too serious for Garzi, because he has been strong this season. Very
he certainly has.
Entertaining to watch.
Tyler Rudy, on loan from the New England Revolution, has played very well in his short time with the Rhinos. We'll see what he can do here.
Ball's put back into play and possession given back to the Rhinos, as Miller will take it. Miller played in no games last season. Now in his 6th appearance and only 2 goals against for the 25-year-old Brandon Miller, who played his college soccer along with the Mid-Michigan Bucks in the PDL at the University of Michigan for college, by the way. Ringoff gets his first touch. Trying to get one outside to Obasi, who has to crash in there. And they're going to call the foul on Obasi. I thought it was a clean, hard win.
Well, again, we're not as close as the referee. Did make contact, definitely, but they were going for the ball. So it'll be a free kick for TFC 2. And
there's a look at it. Ringoff will swing it to the far side.
Little high on that pass. 6'5", Obasi go up and get it.
Nah, that's nothing.
There's no foul there. Looked worse than it was. That's a bad giveaway.
Will Rolf make them pay? Rudy, his first touch, coming on just 1 minute ago. McMahon, still with it. Back to Rudy. Oh, poked away by Edwards.
Alex Boner does not want to see Tyler Rudy with the ball. He and his Georgetown Hoyas knocked Syracuse out of the NCAA tournament last year. Georgetown and Syracuse, that's as bad as Rochester, Toronto.
It doesn't matter what
He
sport.
assisted on both goals in Georgetown's 2-1 win over Syracuse. So Rudy certainly is relishing the chance to do that again tonight.
Bouchard again is there defensively for the Reds.
Rudy's playing six games, two games started, 1 assist for Tyler Rudy.
Going to be a goal kick for Toronto FC. Bob Lilly and the Rhinos, I think we're looking for a corner, as was I. But again, I work for the Rhinos, so take that for what it is.
I was saying, the longer this game goes on, the more likely Toronto is going to be wanting to maybe sit back and maybe even try to get a goal here, because they're gaining in confidence. They're playing pretty even with the Rhinos up to this point.
Walls off the chest of Rolf. Walls wins it again. A workhorse in the middle of the park. And out of play by Edwards. Jason Bent wanted a call there. Wasn't going to get it. Bent now in charge of the number 2 side after 3 years as an assistant with the first team. Very good man to have in this position, Jason Bent. Solid resume and
his
great players to work with, too.
Career ended prematurely. Injured, severe knee injury, suffered playing for Canada against Ireland, 1993. Tried to rehab for a couple years, but just couldn't get his knee back into playing condition and eventually had to retire. But he had some big moments with the Canadian national team, part of the team that won the Gold Cup in 2000 and finished third in 2002. He scored the game-winning goal in the third-place match against Martinique. So he had a great career, Jason Bennett, not to mention his time with Plymouth Argyle in England.
Always a name that was buzzing around the Canadian national program as one of their key components. Now, taking all that experience and teaching the young ones. As this ball rolls through everybody, Miller will pick it up. We're in the 66th minute, and we are scoreless at Salem Stadium.
And hopefully the referee didn't see that flash of lightning.
That was a big one.
Jason Bent, also native of the Toronto area from Scarborough, so again, just keeping it all in the family in Toronto.
Knocked out of play by the Rhinos. Throw-in coming up for Edwards and Toronto.
Man tried to steal that throw-in, and the referee said, sorry, Mr. McMahon. Going the other way.
All right, worst thing that can happen is they say no.
Worst thing that happens is you get booked. But
didn't overdo it. He was classy about it. Oh, Mendoza is dumped by Edwards, who already has a yellow card in the 49th minute, and he is really on thin ice right now.
Certainly is. Rudy and Mendoza both went down there.
Talking to is Raheem Edwards, the 19-year-old, lucky not to be sent off.
Raheem better keep his mouth shut, or he's going to see red in this match. And Toronto definitely does not want to go down to 10 men here.
There's a look at that challenge from Edwards against Mendoza.
Let's see it. Mendoza with the ball. Oh, that's if I was refereeing, that'd be a second yellow. That was well after that ball was passed. There's a scene again. Pulls on the jersey a little bit. There's the pass coming up, and there's the foul.
Oh, but it wasn't Edwards.
That's why he's complaining. It wasn't him.
He's got a bone to pick.
There you go.
It was not Edwards, indeed, who I think it may have been Chapman, who was in there roughhousing a little bit.
So that time the player had a case that time.
There's Rolf. Valesky. Backheel pass into the box. No one there. Bono will pick it up for TFC.
Rolf just cut just the wrong way there. That was a great idea, but Rolf just went one way, the ball went the other. But he would have been through if it had been a good pass or a good cut.
So Toronto will go to the bench once again and make another substitution as Edwin Rivas makes his way to the fourth official. He's played behind Forbes.
Rivas from Cal State Northridge.
Into space, the flag comes up. There's Hamilton again. He's toying with that line of defense. And you see it so many times where the flag comes up, it comes up, but the one time it doesn't, he's in on goal, and that one was Definitely.
This is actually the first
behind
time
the line.
That's the first time the Rhinos actually got an offside call, I believe, against Toronto.
So Rivas is going to come on for Hamilton, who was a threat all night long. 69th minute, time of the change as Hamilton comes off. Rivas, the 23-year-old, 37th overall pick in the 2015 MLS draft.
From Los Angeles, California. Your third match with Toronto FC 2. And you wonder if the Rhinos might be happy to see Jordan Hamilton come off the field, because he's definitely by far the most dangerous red of the match so far.
2 changes made for both sides. Again, USL, there's 5 substitutions allowed for each side.
A little too much dribbling from the Rhinos. You need to get those quick passes going again. Try to break down this Toronto defense.
Edwards. Mirabelli.
Joe, this is a team, Toronto FC, that was up 2-0 on Charleston at Blackbout Stadium and ended up losing 3-2. So this team has some talent, certainly. They just have not been able to close out matches.
There's a breakout for Mendoza. Cuts it back. Forbes, they'll go outside. Rudy. Cross is deflected. Bono has to backpedal, makes the save, though.
Good catch there from Bono, nice and solid.
Twitter to become a league insider. Join the conversations and have a chance at its
Manella gets it to Chapman. Chapman plays it back. They go outside. Chapman still looking for an option. Has Manella. Central has it now. Bouchard, who's been steady tonight. Done a good job in the back.
It's not really pressuring the ball in the back now, waiting until TFC gets across midfield before they put the defensive pressure on.
Mirabelli, K. Outside for Edwards, and won't get on that one. That'll be his last run of the game as well, as Luca Uccello will come on here in the 72nd minute. Uccello coming on for Edwards. Uccello, 17 years old. This will be his 4th appearance of the season. His older brother, Julian, is also a soccer player, has played in Italy, and his twin brother, Michael, also a part of the TFC system. So a 17-year-old now, number 45, Luca Uccello, on for Toronto.
4th game this year for Toronto.
Just a kid, you know? It's amazing.
Well, that's what you're going to see a lot this year with the GFC 2 and Red Bulls 2 and FC Montreal. A lot of young players learning the ropes, hoping to get their chance with the senior team. And they're definitely learning a lot in this game. And they've accounted themselves very well so far. They weathered the storm early on in the game and got a break off the post on Colin Rolfe's header. And they're certainly in this match. One goal could be the decider in this match.
The changes are going to be coming fast and furious here in the final 17 or 18 minutes. As Duba will be getting ready to come on, number 10 for the Rhinos. And he was quite a handful in that first home game we got to see him play. He is a big, strong player.
And fast, and he can shoot with either foot. So we'll see if he can make a difference in this match. That's why they brought him in from Cabo Verde in Africa.
TFC with possession, middle of the field, Babuli. Spins away from Forbes. Still pushes it into the 18. Rivas is in. The shot just wide. Miller may have got a piece of it. He did.
Wow.
Toronto hands on their head along the bench in disbelief.
Miller earned his money there. That was the save of the game so far.
There's a quick look at the replay on that last opportunity for Edwin Rivas, the 23-year-old.
Toronto just breaking down the Rhinos' defense with passing. There's a play going straight through. Rivas gets around the defenders, all alone on goal, and Miller got down and tipped it to the side. Corner for TFC 2, or first of the game.
Corner from the near side, whipped into the box. Miller gets it and picks it up on the one hop. Wow.
Again, that slippery ball. If somebody been there right at the doorstep marking the keeper, it would have been 1-0 to Toronto.
Obasi back to his keeper.
And that's what you learn in this game, Joe, when you play it. You know, you always put somebody on the keeper on any corner kick, just in situations like that. If the keeper doesn't handle it cleanly, you got a goal.
Miller will chip one down the middle of the field. It's headed away by Skylar Thomas. Mendoza will pick up the loose ball, working that far side. Forbes overlapping, gets the ball. Looks up, service. Bono reaches up, ball bounces, and Bono able to get back on it.
Valesky looks like he might have taken a bump there, holding his side. Actually surprised that wasn't a foul there. Bono was run into.
Flick backwards by Babuli to Manella. Now Chapman.
From being a dedicated Rhinos fan,
still Chapman with it. Pushes it forward, gets it back. Works the near side, K. Chips it into the 18. Ringhoff skying up over everyone, takes a hard tumble, but still wins the header.
Got tremendous leaping ability, does Ringhoff. If Rhinos can get a corner, he'll be very dangerous.
There's K. Trying to force it down to Mirabelli, and no luck there. There's two changes coming up here for the Rhinos. This is in the 76th minute, so this will be changes 3 and 4. It's going to be Duba coming on for, both Rolf and Valesky are coming to the sideline. Let's see, it is Rolf and Valesky who come off. And Marcus Ugarte is on as well. So Duba and Ugarte come on. Rolf and Valesky come off. And we'll see what that does to the formation of the Rhinos. Looks like Tony Walls is going to push up a little higher behind Duba, who gets up and wins the first header. Goes down pretty hard on the turf and does get back up. Bassi wins the header.
Duba, I think, still getting used to the field turf here at Salem Stadium. It's much different than playing on grass, which he's certainly been used to in his career.
Nice play, throwing for the Rhinos.
Stevan Humberto Fortes dos Santos.
What a great name. For him, this is his 5th appearance of the season.
He's another guy who will just take on players, go right at them, and see what he can do here. Tony Walls up top. That's a little bit unusual.
Yeah, he's pushed up higher here.
Well, again, Alex Dixon not available for tonight's match, and that certainly changed things. So it looks like Duba is the point man, and Walls will play just behind him.
Manella's service downfield goes to no one. Jason Bent looking for some options downfield, telling the guys to move up. McMahon will have a throw in. We're in the 77th minute and scoreless between Rochester and Toronto. Walls looking for Duba. And Bouchard will be called for a handball.
And that's experience right there from Duba. Immediately saw the handball, appealed to the assistant referee and got the call. So it's a very dangerous free kick for the Rhinos. And they'll look to Johnny Mendoza to serve up a educated ball with that right foot of his.
And you talked about Ringhoff going up. That's exactly what he's done here.
Ringhoff and Duba. And Vasilios will also be a guy you can look out for.
Mendoza serves a good ball into the mix. Over Bono's head. Obasi puts it back into the 18. And cleared away by the Toronto defense.
Wow. Big let off there. Bono dropped that ball and then got caught in no man's land. Rhinos could not get it back in front. Should have been an easy catch as Mendoza got a little too much air under that ball, but Mendoza, again, Bono dropped it with that wet ball.
Forbes. Mendoza. Touches. And hustles, but gives away a throw-in instead of a goal kick.
Rhinos will push up here, try to win the ball back deep in the Toronto end.
Pressure from the Rhinos. McMahon wins the ball. Heads it to Walls, who's pushed up here late in the game. Canardo Forbes, the Jamaican, cuts it back to his right. Offers a cross, that's blocked. It'll be a throw-in coming up again for the Rhinos. So Toronto coming off a 4-1 loss, a 1-1 draw, and a 5-1 loss. Deep into this one, scoreless with the Rhinos. This holds up, it'll do a ton for their confidence. So rain's starting to pick up again just a little bit. Throw in deep near the corner flag on the near side. Into the box. Headed, Babuli will take no chances and just bomb it downfield. Gets the little clap from Jason Bent. And at this point, I guess it's hold on, grab a point, and some confidence on the road.
A point on the road is a victory. Point at home is a loss. And sure, Bob Loy will not be happy if the Rhinos cannot get 3 points against a team that just one victory this season, that over FC Montreal.
Tough night, though. Tough to get into a rhythm. You play 40 minutes, you stop for about 45 minutes, and then try to go at it again. But no excuse. Both teams had to deal with that situation.
The Rhinos had boatloads of chances in the first half. Just could not get quality chances on goal. They had much of the possession, and of course the header by Colin Rolfe that hit the upright and came right back into Bono's arms.
There's Bono who picks it up.
10 minutes to go plus stoppage time, and there'll be a little bit of that with the substitutions, but not many, except for the Garzi injury. That was about the only injury stoppage in the match in the second half.
There's McMahon, gets the leg in there. Kay. Manella, back to Kay. Dangerous ball across field and just barely getting to it. As the last chance clearance sends Duba down, holding his left knee as he collided with Skylar Thomas.
Of course, you don't want to see a substitute go down.
We saw Duba struggle last game at home against the New York Red Bulls too. He went down with a couple knocks, and once again, he's down on the turf.
If you're not
slow to get up.
If you're not used to playing on this surface, it is difficult. I mean, it's still only the 8th game for the Rhinos and not only the 2nd game at home. So Duba needs to get some more time on this field turf and really be able to absorb those blows. It is tough when you're coming in from overseas and you're not used to playing on this.
Definitely a transitional period for Duba. And don't forget, all USL regular season and playoff games are available live, free, and in HD on YouTube. Connect with the USL YouTube channel today.
Where you're watching us.
Fans, we just wanted to let you know
The rain coming down once again in the 82nd minute.
brought to you by Hillside Children's Foundation.
Rhinos in Toronto FC. Next home game for Rochester will be on May the 30th. FC Montreal comes to town. It'll be 1 week after the two teams meet here again, but in Toronto.
It'll be our next regular season home game. In between there will be a U.S. Open Cup match coming up.
Bono's got to be careful. Duba's applying some pressure. Got to be good with the footwork, and he was. Uccello.
Looks like Bono might have taken a shot to the gut there. He's struggling a little bit.
Miller quickly spreads it out to Ugarte.
Rhinos stuck on 11 shots for a while now. They've really had a good chance on goal in the last 10, 15 minutes. Rhinos need to ratchet up if they're going to get 3 points out of this match.
McMahon. Forbes. Lets that one get away, but McMahon will push it back into Duba. Forbes. Duba. Kay closing him down with Bouchard. Gets it back to Forbes. Whips across into the box. Looking for Ugarte. It'll be Rudy starting it again outside to Ugarte.
Comes Obasi in the overlap.
Walls outside to Obasi. A high cross into the box. Headed down, top of the 18, Mendoza. Right-footed shot. Doesn't get all of it, and it's up and over the goal. 84th minute and scoreless.
Best work from the Rhinos in a few minutes there. Some good passing A lot of movement. Final shot, though, from Johnny Mendoza. Flies over the crossbar, and Alex Bono is certainly happy to see that. That's what the Rhinos need to do, Joe. They got to work the ball on the ground, try to get around the Toronto defense, get a chance on goal.
Bono with a poorly taken goal kick, holding his right ankle. Maybe he is taking a knock.
He's struggling right now, but goalies are tough. They're not going to come out of the match unless it's absolutely necessary.
Well, the backup keeper, if necessary, is Brogan Engbers, 16 years old from Ottawa. He is number 2 this evening.
Yeah, the TFC2's normal number 1, Quillen Roberts, is with the senior team right now. The former Wilmington Hammerhead who shut out the Rhinos here last year. Great player, and he's gotten his chance with the senior team right now.
He's a great goal scorer as well.
Yes, one of the few goalies to score in a FIFA championship tournament.
The U17 World Cup. Canada was trailing 2-1 against England. That was in Pachuca, Mexico, and a great highlight if you get a chance to take a look at it. Manella, he'll quickly switch it to the near side. Kay looks, delivers a good ball into the box. And no chance there for Massimo Mirabelli.
Mirabelli with the thumbs up to Kay. It was a nice ball from Kay, just a little bit too far. Again, Kay's a very dangerous player. He certainly can get into the attack, even though he is playing in the back. He has experience up top, just much like Anwar Bassi does.
86th minute.
It's like one goal is going to decide this one if there is a goal.
Ugarte looking for Duba. Duba battles with Sharpie. Back to Obasi, a nice quick touch to Rudy.
Duba uses that big body well, 6'5", 210.
There's Gerardo Forbes. Not going to have enough space there to connect with Pat McMahon, and in the 86th minute, Bono will have his time to take a goal kick and look to get Toronto closer to at least a draw here. Coming in, giving up 13 goals. 8 of those goals were in the second half that they gave up.
This would be a very surprising result. We make one Charleston Battery team very happy to see the Rhinos not get 3 points at home against a team that the Rhinos should, on paper, have the advantage over.
Still 4 minutes plus stoppage time. Tony Walls. Service, and no one in the back end. Sharpie can chase it down, and he'll let it roll out of play under no pressure at all. He had Duba, but nobody else filling spaces in the box.
Garte moved more toward the center. He's usually out left, and that time Walls was expecting him to stay out left, and he wasn't there.
Good touch from Chapman. Uccello's got to do better there. Mirabelli and Rivas have to hustle to keep possession. Here's Rivas. And Ringhoff will break it up. Nice little flick forward by Babuli. Still working hard. 3 Rhinos converge and take it away, and Babuli with a hard tackle on Ugarte immediately goes into the book. Second yellow card of the game for Toronto. 88th minute.
That's called taking one for the team there. Rhinos had a chance to break, and Babuli said, I don't think so.
A yellow card caution has been issued to Toronto FC2's number
3 cards issued, 3 yellow cards issued, 2 to the visitors, 1 to the Rhinos.
The other cards to players who have now since been substituted, so
good precautionary measures.
Absolutely.
Forbes. Still Forbes. Good ball back to McMahon. 1 touch. Couldn't pull the trigger. And the foul is going to be called on McMahon. Crowd doesn't like it, but Toronto will take it.
That looked like a hospital ball to me, 50-50 ball.
That's going to get your buddy hurt.
Absolutely. Toronto FC will take as much time as necessary. Again, they'd be very happy with a point away from home. And they've not played at home yet. They'll be doing that on the 23rd against these same Rhinos at BMO Field. And I'm sure they're hoping that many of the probably 30,000 fans who will be seeing TFC against Portland Timbers will stick around for the second match and have a big crowd to cheer them on in their first home game ever.
Be sure to track down Andrew Battisti, maybe take a picture with him or have a cold Canadian one with him up at BMO Field.
Canadian water, right?
Better than that, my friend.
How about that?
There's ring off. Looking for Duba. Headed away by Thomas. Poked forward. Rivas couldn't get it to sit. And it'll be McMahon and the Rhinos coming back with a long ball down the near side. In the 90th minute, no one there.
The clock will stop at the 90-minute mark.
Back and forth we go. Brown had some good single touches there in the last couple of minutes. That was a wasted ball, long ball forward there. And
Rudy's taken down by Mirabelli.
let's see if he goes into the book.
Yes, he will.
Yes, he does. And Mirabelli, again, some words for the referee. When you get a yellow card, you just say, and that's it. That's called dissent.
Oh.
He has been sent off.
You could see the reaction from Jason Bent when the initial yellow card came off. Upset and furious, and then it was just too much. Babuli had a yellow card in the 88th minute, got his second, and that will send him off for the evening. Babuli, the 22-year-old, is going to take his time. And the referee says, no, get off right here on the near side. Toronto's going to make some adjustments on this slow-moving Mo Babuli coming off the field. And you could sense it was coming. Jason Bent could see the youngster was getting upset. He was losing his cool. And sure enough, the second yellow card for Babuli comes out.
And again, that's not just not smart, Joe, because now that means he's going to be out for the first match of the big road trip they have coming up later this week. And as their leading scorer, you can't make mistakes like that. You're going to learn that as you get more experience in the game.
4 minutes of stoppage time.
Well, see if of course the Rhinos now playing up a man, but Babuli was up top, so I don't know how much difference that's going to mean for strategy here. I mean, the Rhinos just need to pump balls up field here and see if they can work through this Toronto defense. They're just now playing the Catenaccio style.
They are bunkered down, and Bouchard will pound this one downfield. Apostolopoulos, Mobasi. Time here for the Rhinos to come up with something.
Haven't heard much from Obasi in the second half. He hasn't really gotten forward that much. We'll see if he does anything in stoppage time.
Right on the near side, Forbes heads it back to McMahon. Back out to Forbes. Low driven cross. Duba with the header to goal! Duba snaps it home.
That would be Stevan Humberto Fortes dos Santos.
What a delivery from Canaro Forbes, and what a way to open up your scoring account for Duba.
I would call that a golazo, Joe.
First points of the season for Duba and Forbes. And Babuli, that red card is going to sting a little more right now.
Don't know if the red card really made much of a difference, but it was just a great, finally the Rhinos got a quality chance on goal, and Bono had no chance there. Here's the play again. Ball goes to the right, and Forbes heads it back. McMahon gives it back to Forbes on the 1-2. Does not get closed down. There's the driven cross, and there is Duba at 6'5" frame, powering the header past Alex Bono. 1-0 to the Rhinos.
Well done all around. Forbes, that's the delivery you need into the box. It's not a high lobbing ball that gives the defense a chance to set up. They had no chance at all, and Duba was not going to be denied.
That's Toronto Forbes' first points of the season as well. Early birthday present for the Jamaican international, but here comes Toronto with a set piece.
Now. Chapman over the ball on the far side. He'll step in, chip one into the box. Headed up in the air, it's still in the Rhinos 18. Another header, Miller bobbles this one, and again, able to scoop it on the one hop. Almost ran out of the box with the ball.
And again, Miller got away with one, because then that's where, Babuli, if he had been on the field, might have been available to pick that ball up. But now Toronto got to throw caution to the wind. they might feel that this is a harsh decision against them. They've played very well in the second half. But, well, Rhinos took their chances and Toronto didn't, and that's what you have to do in this game. If you get a chance, you got to put it away.
You should be close to that final whistle, maybe one more push here. But the Rhinos in stoppage time get a beautiful goal from Duba on the service from Forbes, looking to climb up to that 20-point mark in the Eastern Conference and tops in the USL. There's Duba. Keeps it in play. They'll take a few knocks. Kay will come away with it. And there is your whistle. The Rhinos, in dramatic fashion, come away with a 1-0 victory at the 90th plus minute. It is Duba opens his scoring account for the Rhinos from Canardo Forbes. Rochester still undefeated on the season at 6-0-2. Toronto drops to 1-4-1. Well, we had a little bit of everything tonight, Andrew. Some heavy rain, lightning delay, good hard tackles, and a beautiful late finish.
And you look at a game like this, Joe. This is a game the Rhinos did not play their best, and they got it 3 points. And that's something you look down the road down the season. Those 2 points that the Rhinos picked up by winning this match instead of drawing it. We'll see if that makes a difference when it gets down to crunch time in the USL. But again, the Rhinos, Duba finally getting on the board with that goal. And I got to give the man of the match, though, to Canardo Forbes. I think he had a great match, was all over the field. The entire game was very dangerous, and that it was a picture-perfect ball. And Duba, he'll put that away in his sleep.
I agree. Forbes was dynamite throughout the 90-plus minutes this evening, and he sets up the game winner for Duba. Don't forget the Rhinos will be back home for a U.S. Open Cup game on May 24th, but USL Soccer will be on May 30th against FC Montreal after they do take a little visit to Wilmington and Toronto between now and then. So, Andrew, a good result for the Rhinos. They remain undefeated at 6-0-2. Any other thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Again, the Rhinos, I think, on average, had the better of play. Toronto certainly had their chance. I think Jordan Hamilton's going to rue those couple of misses that he had. But I think the Rhinos, again, they're excited down there. They know this is a big win for them against a division rival, a local derby, as close as you can get to Rochester. We'll see what happens 2 weeks from tonight at BMO Field when the Rhinos are in Toronto. I'm afraid everyone from Rochester to take the drive up and support the Rhinos on the road in TFC2's first home match ever.
Be a nice Memorial Day trip up to our friends up north. So, final score tonight from Salem Stadium. The Rhinos 1, Toronto FC 2-0. A late goal from Duba, putting 3 points in the bank for the Rhinos this evening. For our entire production crew, our color commentator Andrew Battisti, hope you've enjoyed our coverage from Salem Stadium. I'm Joe Giuliano. So long on the Rhinos Broadcast Network.